This makes me uncomfortable.
Yay. Welcome to the This Makes Me Uncomfortable podcast, where we discuss all the things that make us uncomfortable. I'm your co-host, Allura.
And I'm your other co-host, Jade. We're your keynote speakers today because it's graduation season.
Woo!
That means it's time to bust out the air horns, blah, 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 and candy lays, and spend way too much time and glitter glue decorating your cap with a nonsense motivational message. Oh, we did it. And side-eye the girls with clear plastic heels under their gowns. Ew.
Gross. So let's revel in the uselessness of our degree, and let's get uncomfortable, shall we? So first order of business, Jade. What's made you uncomfortable recently? Who have made you uncomfortable? Who did you make uncomfortable? All the things.
I would say yesterday I had a recent interaction where I hadn't seen someone in a while, and this is someone I really love and adore. It's a very sweet person. But the first thing that they said to me was like, "Oh, you were quite a bit fatter before. And I see that you're not as fat anymore."
Nice.
And I tried to play it off with humor because I saw everyone else's eyes get big and worrying that I was going to get mad. And I didn't want to make this very sweet person feel bad because I'm a people pleaser because of trauma.
Yeah.
So I was like, ooh, well, I like to keep my style and shape, moving along. What's something dumb like that to make her feel? And she laughed and it was fine. But yes, I was crying inside and I wanted to eat away the pain, but I know that would lead to the very basis of the painful comment to begin with. Mm-hmm. So it's a vicious cycle. The snake eats its tail. What's making you uncomfortable, Aurora?
Sorry that happened.
No big deal.
We both work in education and
what?
I know. And it's crazy because I think I am perpetually like 19 inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am like talking with like 19-year-old students. And then I'm just like, oh, we're not the same. And then I'm just constantly hit like with my own aging persona.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just get a little like sad and uncomfortable because I'm just like, wow, like they have so much going for them. Like,
yeah.
Their world is at their feet, and I'm just like, oh, I wish I could like do it all over again. But I'm still like young, but it's just like even just those small bit of years that I have over these 19-year-olds,
mm-hmm.
It's an uncomfortable feeling because I'll never be there again. But I'm just seeing it, and like they just keep getting younger and younger, and then I just keep getting older and older, and then the gap is just widening.
Wow, you're really kicking us off with a fun start there, Laura. Okay, I have a couple questions. Yeah. What makes you feel that age gap most sharply? Like, what is making you feel really old right now?
I think it's the way they speak and like the way they act and like the problems or like issues that like arise and like also their behaviors like are very different than
so just everything.
Just everything.
I'm the way they speak, think, behave, look, feel.
Like I just won't I won't get references, you know, that they're like referring to. I'm just like, come again, like I don't know, maybe speak
Yeah.
normally.
Well, and the fact that you're responding with "come again" really signals old age. Pardon.
Like, I know that I'm like I've been an old person since the day I was born, but it's just
Mhm.
showing now. Like, I'm just like, we're not the same. Like, I don't get
Yeah.
it.
Well, it
And
only gets worse as you get older.
I know, and I already feel it starting. Like, I already feel myself getting like stuck in my ways.
Mm-hmm. So if you could go back and be these fledgling 19-year-olds again with their hip slang
Yeah.
and their jive dances and everything, what would you do differently? What's one thing that you would change?
I really wish I could have gone somewhere else for college. Like, gone to a different state, like, even gone farther in the state. Um, yeah, I'm just finding it now. That's like such a perfect excuse to like leave home is
Mm-hmm.
school and seeing a different environment. And I've always been in the same environment because of circumstance, but still, I've also been always like an afraid person, not necessarily taking risks. But I wish I
Mm-hmm.
did that when I was, that age.
That is very hard. I share that regret as well. I mean, I got into University of Hawaii and I didn't go. But I
Why?
think exactly. Well, because I think you grow up with instability and then you become hyper focused on creating stability and regularity, consistency for yourself. And so taking those risks feels more amplified because everything feels more dangerous. And then I felt obligation to family members who don't even speak to me anymore. So it was like, why was I making these sacrifices to do what I thought was right for you when I could have just gone away? So it's hard to put yourself at the center of your own narrative when you're not used to being supported that way. And then when I see young people are like, well, of course I'm going to go here and go there. I'm like, damn, how nice would it have been to felt that safe and supported to make those changes? So, but now that we're cougars, we can just go out and do it now, honey. There's white wine everywhere in the world.
Right.
And poor young men looking for a green card.
Oh, that sounds like fun, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a couple of old sad ladies. You know, one of my great aunts passed away. I don't mean to laugh when I said that, but one of the things that she told me before she passed away, she said, I don't have any regrets about how I lived my life. Like, I really felt like I did everything that I wanted to. And I don't feel that way yet, but I hope that, both you and I can get to that point. Because one thing that my therapist told me, she goes, you know that you always talk like you're dying today, as if everything's over. And you just need to flip that and say, be future oriented rather than mired in the past. So maybe that's what we need to both work on is we've got years ahead of us. We can still do all those things that we wanted to do when we were young, but maybe we're too afraid or felt too risky to do at that time.
That's a nice positive note.
You're giving disbelief. Well, Miss Allura, you mentioned that we both work in a school system. And so much of what's occupying this part of the year for us is graduation season. So the ceremony, but the process of finishing the degree is this huge milestone, and students look forward to it at kindergarten and 8th grade promotion and high school, college, and beyond. And so it's a big deal. It's like celebrating success, culmination of all this knowledge and new skills, and they're going to make the world a better place, carve a new path for themselves, their family, communities that have never had this chance before. And then with all the graduation ceremonies we see recently, all the students being brave and making powerful statements against injustice in the world. And it's so beautiful. But what I want to focus on is what were the most awkward and embarrassing parts of your graduations?
Ooh.
That's what I really care about.
I always think it's funny when I participated in my bachelor's graduation. I didn't want to because it was a terrible experience, but my mother was just like, "You have to do it for your grandma," and I was just like, "She still thinks I'm in college. I don't think this culminating event's going to change anything in her mind." But I went, and I'll never forget. The dean was introducing himself to everyone, all the students. And this particular person and I had gotten into email exchanges negatively every semester.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were completely online. And so this is the first time we're meeting in person. And he literally would introduce himself. I said my name, and he literally took a step back. It was just like, oh, we've talked before. And I was like, yes, I've been in your email boxes. And he immediately leaves, did not want to talk to me at all after that.
I love it. I love that your name and face alone would just cause a grown person to recoil.
No, literally. It was so funny, a little awkward, and embarrassing for him, but I loved every minute of it. And so that, I think, was the highlight of my graduation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And making someone else uncomfortable.
Yes.
That is really your crowning achievement.
It is.
Who cares about all the units and the classes and whatever?
I literally battled every single semester.
You were pretty much teaching the classes that you were in. Anyway,
yeah.
So.
I was the class president without being the class president.
I'm hoping that with the state that the education system's in, that it dismantles, it crumbles to the ground, and then it is reignited with you at the helm. And we're just at the University of Allura, just learning how to cook delicious food, be very cold to people that we hate. It's just all of these skills that are so wonderful. Yeah. Survival 101.
What about you?
I don't have a lot of graduation stories.
Did you participate in all of your graduations?
No, for as many degrees as I haven't really done much graduation stuff. Okay, so I had my high school graduation, and one of my grandfathers had just died, so it was kind of a gloomy cast, which is appropriate for me. There's always got to be a cloud on a sunny day. But one funny thing about my high school graduation is that my dad and my auntie and uncle showed up. They would always show up for everything. They've always been there. But my mom didn't show up. She didn't bring my siblings or anything because it was too hot that day.
Naturally.
So yeah, I mean, the evening time in June is just unbearable. It's like the Sahara. I can't sit out there. So that was hurtful. And then as a result of that trauma, I didn't walk for my bachelor's. Found out later that I was earning an award for top bachelor student in my degree. That's a nice little salt in the wound. I did walk for my master's because it was part of a small program with MFAs, because to get an MFA in creative writing is a dumbass decision. So it's just a small group of people. But I felt really tight with them, so I wanted to walk with them. And my aunt, and I think my mom actually showed up for a little bit, but she didn't stay. Mm-hmm. And then for my PhD, I did not walk because I was so over it that I just wanted to be done with that place. But funny enough, the day that I was graduating from my PhD, my cousin was graduating from the same school with her bachelor's in science. So I did attend her. So I was there. And so we're watching and we're waiting for her to come across the stage. And her name, she's Mexican, so she has a Hispanic last name. And a lot of her graduating class had Chinese last names. And so, all the people, the deans or whatever, they're pronouncing it phonetically. And these two dumbasses, a couple of Chads behind me, were making fun of the names like it's frickin' 1898. And they did it for like 3 names, and then I just lost my shit. And I turned around and I said, you know what? In most places in the world, Brad and Chad, your names sound fucking ridiculous. And how would you feel if on the biggest day of your life, people in the crowd were making fun of your name that your family gave to you because it was something they were proud of? Stop it. And then they looked at me like all shocked. And then I turned back around and they were like, bitch, you know, like muttering all these like dumbass white fragility, masculinity things. But these are the things I like to do at graduation.
You're doing the important work.
Thank you.
You're doing the heavy lifting. Yeah.
Thank you for validating me.
No, for sure.
I love it. So graduation season is not just the ceremony itself. We get cards. The only ones that matter are the ones with money in them. We know that. We're just trashing the other ones. We don't even recycle those. That's how meaningless they are. We got flowers. We're going to go in beer bottles. I don't know why you give flowers to any kind of graduate. They don't have vases.
They don't.
And then balloons. So many balloons. The graduation cap balloons, the balloons that say the year, the stars, the confetti-filled ones. Those are fancy. But all of those balloons are going to go toward polluting our oceans and killing sweet little innocent turtles and dolphins, which are animals that have sex for pleasure. So we know they're living a good life, and you're going to kill them because you wanted a balloon. So if you could fight any animal to the death, which one would it be? And how would you extinguish the light from its eyes? And why?
I actually gave this question a good amount of thought.
Good.
And I don't really. I have a couple of scenarios.
Okay, walk me through.
A dolphin is interesting, but I feel like they're way too skilled for me. Like they, would be able to, like, they're slippery. They could just, they're in and out, whatever.
I got a ringworm from a dolphin once, so it's another thing. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
I need you to explain.
No, I was in Mexico, and it was one of those like pools where you could swim with dolphins, which is something I would not do now. Because that's just so terrible to support something where you have a giant animal in a little pool. But yeah, got out of that pool, ringworm. Boom, baby. Yeah. Slimy and infectious.
Okay.
And then all the guys wanted me afterward. They're like, ooh, you look bumpy. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so you're not going to do a dolphin. It's too risky.
No, I don't want to do a dolphin. It was the first animal that came to mind, though. I think it was just like the oceans and things. Because they also seem very friendly, But anyway.
Yeah. They could probably like shatter your eardrums with that,
Well, listen, I got another thing coming for them. I'm like, that's my superpower as well.
The dolphin's like, no! Blood spurts out of their blowhole.
So we're like 1 for 1 on that one, but
toe to toe. That would be cool. We should have like some kind of decibel measuring system for your laugh and then a dolphin screech and see who in the animal kingdom can you beat with your laugh. That would be a fascinating documentary.
Both of my roommates, like, we would be in like close quarters and I would be laughing. They're just like, Allura, it's like directly in my ear canal. Like, do not, like, it's just shattered.
Yeah. I think when we were all at my birthday party, someone made you laugh, and Adele, my youngest, went like, Mom, it's too loud. I don't think she even knew what or who it was. She was just like, no. You like took her to a new sensory stage in her development.
That's why kids don't like me, is because I'm too loud.
Developing eardrums just can't handle it.
Oh, that's hilarious. Pandas.
Pandas?
feel like
Come on, Allura. They're so slow, though.
I know. So like it would be an easy fight, but also like they're so cute. Like I don't know if I could do that. Like they're so innocent.
Did you know that pandas thousands of years ago used to be carnivores?
Interesting.
But they're so lazy. They just gave up on hunting. So they're just like, here's a plant. And they don't, they don't have sex. That's why they're all endangered.
Yeah.
So they're literally the laziest animal. I don't think the panda would give you enough of a challenge. I feel like you want a little bit of tension.
That's very true. I also don't really know a lot of animals.
What about human man? Human white man.
Oh my god, I just finished watching like all of the Planet of the Apes movies, and I like
Wait. Okay, now we're going back to how you're an old person. What made you do? You're like, oh, here's a charming new cinematic tale. Let me pop in my VHS.
No, our old roommate was visiting a couple weeks ago, and we used to always watch movies, and so because the new one was coming out, I guess.
Oh, there's a new one.
We have to watch all of them, and I was just like, oh, yay. But then I got like fully invested in them, per usual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
but it was like super interesting. I was like, yo, this is actually kind of deep.
Like, who's better, the people or the monkeys? God.
I was like, they have like they're going to repopulate and like they're like coming up with these like new societal structures.
Yeah. Right?
Why do they all speak English? Like that's so crazy.
I know, even monkeys are colonizers.
But anyway, wouldn't do a monkey, wouldn't do the apes.
Oh, I wish we could do little sound bites. Can we do that for the Instagram where you say, won't do a monkey? And then that laugh.
Yeah, I'll do that.
It is very touching. Oh my god, I don't know if I've ever told you this story. Okay, so I used to have a friend that I worked with. She is very beautiful. But she had a sister who was even more beautiful, and that was kind of a tension between them. It was like, ooh, one sister is prettier than the other. So the prettier, quote unquote, prettier sister was taking her kid to the zoo one day. And they go to the chimpanzee enclosure, and she's looking at this chimp that's really close to her, and it makes eye contact, whips out its penis, starts masturbating, and ejaculates on the glass as it's watching her.
So she
validating. Yeah. Yes. She was hot.
That's honestly like the biggest compliment.
I know. Interspecies ejaculation. Oh, I
That's
wish I had
wild.
one. I know. Isn't that special?
That is special. Wow, that's crazy.
It is very touching when I do see apes grooming each other and like picking nits out and eating them. Isn't that nice? It's kind of sweet.
It is. It is.
Okay. What animal would I fight to the death? So I just finished watching this documentary series on octopuses.
Ooh.
Fascinating animals. I had known a little about them before, but the degree to which they not just replicate but exceed our intelligence is amazing. Because they've been around longer than the dinosaurs, first of all.
Do you think they're aliens?
Like from another planet?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
I think they're just super smart and have been hiding out in rocks and coral because they know the rest of the earth is fucked. But anyway, so there's certain species that obviously camouflage and they change their texture and everything, but they create weapons and shields when they're fighting other animals. And then there's one that can create the shape of other more venomous or dangerous animals to scare potential predators away. Like it'll change into a snake or a whale shape, and it will even replicate the movement of it too. Another thing I learned is that we think octopuses are very solitary, but they're actually very social. They'll shake tentacles with each other, and they can read each other's intent through the tentacle shake. Because the suckers on their tentacles, are 25 more times more sensitive than our fingertips. So one of the scientists said it's like having fingertips, a tongue, and a nose all in one. Like it can pick up so many senses just by touching something. So it'll touch the other octopus and like read its intent. It'll know if it wants to mate, if it wants to fight, if it wants to like share tools or something. It's just this really sophisticated communication that we're just beginning to understand.
That's so crazy.
Mm-hmm. And it even, one of them even like touched the scientist and was trying to read her. Just really, really fascinating. And
Do you think it read her? What do you think it thought?
Like, ooh, this is a nasty bitch wanting to watch octopuses all day. They probably knew that the scientist was really lonely in the ocean for like 16 hours just watching me. We'll let her stay. Yeah, the octopus was like really cool with her being there. The cool thing about the females, though, get this. She will collect sperm packets from multiple males and then decide which one she likes the best to make eggs with. And the ones that she doesn't, from the chumps with their nasty ass sperm, she'll just blow those back into the water. She like spits them out. Wouldn't that be cool? If you had a wild night and you didn't use protection and then you're like, ooh, and then you could just shoot the sperm back out. Wow. Yeah. We wouldn't even have these abortion controversies.
No.
If we were octopuses.
Oh, to be an octopus.
They're fascinating. So I don't know if I would fight it because I would definitely lose. They're way smarter than me. But, I don't like birds.
The whole species of bird, or is it like a particular?
No, I'd say all birds.
Okay. I would also be on the same vein as you. I'm not a big fan of birds either.
I feel okay killing one, like just breaking its neck. Seems like it'd be real easy too. I know you cook a lot. Have you ever killed a chicken?
I haven't.
Do you want to do it together?
It'd be interesting, like, to pluck them. Like, I feel like that would be, like, a fun task to do.
Now we're talking. Let's activate our OCD and start plucking chickens on our next live episode of This Makes Me Uncomfortable. Oh, okay.
So you would fight chickens? Birds?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, maybe like a bigger bird. Oh my god, turkeys and geese are pretty mean. That might be like a fun challenge, because I've realized from my volunteer work that when children throw things at my face, it triggers trauma from child abuse that I suffered. So I think the way a turkey or a goose comes at me triggers, and it would fuel the rage that could turn me into a savage murderer. So it only takes a small child or a bird. Yeah. Throw something at me and you're done. Oh, good times. So, Allura, I love you so much, and you're such a skilled and talented person, and you don't really realize the full breadth of your skill set. But one of the things that you've done in our previous graduation ceremonies is you've handmade tea leaves for our graduates. And that involves like a lot of twisting and weaving and drying and veining and all of these things that you do with leaves. So,
Yeah.
Are there any tangled plots, aka relationships, that you're currently weaving? And please include names, dates, incriminating events, and social security numbers.
Right. I am so sorry to tell you this, but
Oh no.
I am not weaving or twisting any entanglement plots right now. My
Oh,
life is
dang.
very boring. I
Hmm.
literally this Friday night, I literally watched SpongeBob the movie by myself.
Damn, girl, you're really living the 20s up.
Literally yesterday, I went to go like run some errands and I was hungry, so I literally sat and ate by myself at a restaurant, just by my lonesome.
Hey, where did you eat?
I went to Guahan.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, and it was great.
Chamorro Pride.
But yeah, I'm fully in my single lifestyle right now, and I love it so
You
much.
know, I I feel like American culture is really hard on people for eating alone, especially women. We're always expected to be chaperoned or engaging in some kind of social thing, and if we're not, we're weirdos. But eating alone is very relaxing because you don't have
Yeah.
to talk, you don't have to speed up, you can just enjoy your meal as you want it.
Yeah, I will say I was very like I didn't mind eating alone at all, but I just felt judgment everywhere.
Mm. Were people looking
Like
at you weird?
even like my mom, I like texted her a picture and she was just like, "Oh my gosh, like wait, who are you with?" And I'm like, "I'm by myself." She's like, "Oh, that's sad." And I'm just
Mm.
like, "It's not." But
Yeah.
whatever. Fine.
No, I've had the same because when I was your age and which means that I was legible to society as a young, potentially sexual woman. Now I'm completely invisible. But at your age, like I would go to the movies alone and I would eat alone and people who worked there would always come up to me and be like, "Are you okay? Like why did you come to the movies alone?" And I was like, "Why not? Like why do I have to wait on someone to go to
I
the
know.
movies with me?" And going to the movies with people is not really a big deal. You can't talk or you're not supposed to
No.
talk. So what's the point?
So yeah, I'm just very alone and single currently. No
Hmm.
entanglements.
No
I
one.
would say this is a very peaceful period.
Mm-hmm. Oh, your voice went up like it was a lie.
It's
No.
so peaceful.
Oh yes, very convincing. Well, no, I'm glad that it's a peaceful period and you get to peacefully reject all the DMs asking you to be a sugar baby and all those things.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I have to tell the pod. I frequently text Jade screenshots of like sugar daddy applications,
Mm-hmm. My
and
favorite.
this one was such a poet. And this was like in my like hidden like folder, like it was like it didn't even like show up as like a request, like I had to actually go into that folder. And the first thing was like, there's this magnetic pull that makes me want to be your glucose guardian.
Oh my
I
god.
completely died at glucose guardian because I was just like, did I read that correctly? And then later on in the message he was like, so what do you think about being my sugar baby? And I was like, oh, so that okay, got it.
You thought he was like a diabetes awareness
No,
advocate?
literally, I was just like, Another thing that I've realized is like I'm the most clueless person in the world. Like people could be hitting on me, and I'd be like, "Oh, we were just having a conversation." Like I don't, I don't get it.
You're such a heartbreaker. The glucose guardian is really a winner. That's the
It
best one so
is
far.
like I might just hit him back up just to be like, "Okay,
Is there
what
some
about
part of
glucose?"
you? Is there some part of you that? I mean, obviously, it's kind of objectifying to get all these requests all the time and equating a dollar amount with you as a person. Obviously. But it's a part of it that kind of makes you feel good.
Sure. But also I just don't think these people are real.
Oh, Allura burst my bubble. That would make sense, though. Like an AI, like a chatbot, would come up with Glucose Guardian instead of Sugar Daddy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like I just don't get realness vibes from them because I highly doubt, like, and not to be ageist or anything, but like older men are navigating these like social media like platforms in this way, you know? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's just a weird, strange way to go about things. And I feel like it's way too tech savvy for some of them. Like, I don't have a lot of, like, you know, they need to have help, or they're not real, or it's a whole operation.
Interesting. I am disheartened that these men are not real, that it's just technology. Do you feel worried about AI? Why is everyone... You do feel worried? What are you most worried about?
Okay, I grew up on iRobot, the movie with Will Smith. Like, that was like my favorite.
Okay.
You know,
the
like, I just don't get it. Like, I also just watched, what was it? Ex Machina? Is that how you pronounce it?
Well, Ex Machina.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it like that. That's crazy.
It's Latin. That's a great movie, though. I think that's one of the best AI movies.
I literally just finished watching it, and I was just like, what are we doing? Why? I think I read somewhere, it was just like, why are we making, like, AI to replace, like, all of our jobs when we should, like, make them to do, like, the tedious, like, things that we don't necessarily need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that frees up our, like, space to be more free-thinking and to, like, do more of our, like, interests and passions. Why are we letting AI do those things? Like, it's just so crazy. It's not going to turn out well.
No. Honestly, if you look at all science fiction, everything that was predicted in science fiction, even from the 19th century, has happened, and it's all been disastrous. So if the predictions continue as transcribed in the literature, we don't have much time left.
Yeah. I like used to use like the Chat GPT, like all the AI things, because I'm like, why are we making it smarter?
I know, huh? I know the people who seem most afraid of it are the ones who are using it and they don't realize you're contributing to it. So I'm very worried about AI with warfare, obviously, with medicine, all of these things that people's lives will be lost because of it. I don't worry about it with education. Like, I don't care. I feel like if you build a relationship with students and create cool, fun assignments, they're not going to use it. And even if they did, who gives a shit? Like, okay, so they use this AI to create something. Like, no one's life is going to be lost because of that. I'm worried about it with other things. So it kind of annoys me when people talk about it so much with like, oh, what, they're plagiarizing their essays. Whoa. Like, who cares? Let's focus on the bombs that are being dropped because of AI piloting drones and shit. So, but everybody's like, oh no, that's crazy. Don't talk about it.
We're so self-destructive.
We are, and not in fun ways.
Self-hatred.
Yeah. I mean, my self-hatred alone could fuel 10,000 robots.
Literally.
Probably 20.
Do you feel like the world's ending, like, more than usual?
Yes.
Cool.
Happy graduation, everyone. This is the world we're giving to you. Yeah, I feel like it's getting worse.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's circle back.
Okay.
So graduation parties, I was lucky enough to be invited to your graduation party.
Thank
It
you for
was not organized by AI. Unless maybe your mom is AI. She
I
is
think she is.
quite gorgeous and quite perfect in every way,
I
and
don't
she
trust
raised
her.
you. So that's very sus as the
I'm
young.
pretty robotic, if you ask me.
Uh-oh. Oh no. I've been working with AI all along.
Yeah.
But anyway, your mom is a super host, and I love her and admire her, and also harbor great resentment and hatred toward her for all the
Okay.
things that she is. So your party was really nice. All the decorations, the food was delicious. All those cakes were so beautiful, and there's like 10 of them, all different flavors, and then your favorite Matua wine
Yeah.
sponsorship, please. Flowing like the blood of your enemies.
Mhm.
And you are a great party planner as well, just like Steph. And I know that this is the Godzilla Mothra relationship that you two have, is that you would say that you're the better party planner. So I'll go along with that because, yes, you are the better one. So if you could throw a party for any occasion, any person, living, dead, real, or fictional, who would it be? And how would you decorate? What food would you serve?
That's so hard.
That's what she said.
Because
We
I
are
love
old. Throw out this 25-year-old joke.
it's so good every single time.
That's what she said.
I love a theme. I love a party to plan. I think planning is way better than actually having it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My favorite movie is White Chicks, and so I've always wanted I've always wanted to throw a white party.
Ooh, oh, this will go over well.
My favorite line is did no one tell you this was a white party?
Okay, so what is the white party decor that you would do? Because I know that movie's a little bit older, and now the white girl aesthetic in particular has been updated to a certain brand.
Right. I just always figured it would be fun for a wedding, but reverse, all the guests wear white, and then the bride and groom wear a fun color, so they're the center of attention, and then we're just all the whiteness and the crowd. I've always wanted to throw a warehouse party and have various kind of a wedding as well, and have a bunch of different food trucks and open bar and just lights strung everywhere, but it's just very chill, not too crazy, but it's just lively and fun, so it could be a whole white party situation. Just white everywhere.
You know, this is gonna prove your theory. So my husband's cousin, this is cream of the crop whiteness because it's from Minnesota, but they had a warehouse wedding with food trucks outside, lights strung up inside, and they had I planned it, and they had backyard games set up in the warehouse, like giant Jenga and the ring toss, stuff like that, and cornhole. Yeah, so
I'm just not original at all. That just sounds like a
no. I am trying to prove your point that that's right up white people's alley.
Yeah,
because I think I was the only person of color there. Oh, there's one other one,
right?
And we were raise up the fist from across the room, but we can't talk to each other. That's dangerous.
It is. They're collecting.
Yeah, conspiring. Okay, let's say you should become a wedding planner. Let's say I die
Oh, okay.
tomorrow.
Oh, am I planning your funeral?
Yes.
Okay.
Go.
I would make it as creepy as possible.
Ew. So it's like pictures of my ex-boyfriends up or what?
Exactly. I see dolls without their bodies, just hung.
One of my greatest fears.
I know. I've always wanted to play like Pop Goes the Weasel on like the piano for like a funeral.
My God. And then the body shoots out of the coffin.
All the lights are dim. Or it could be like all the lights are flooded and it's like that, like really like LED ugly lighting and it's just like very creepy and medical. So those are the two vibes we could go for.
Okay, I like it. I mean, I think this is planned. I think we don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
No food.
No food. Just kidding. Always have to have food.
Yeah, we have some kind of creepy food.
Or maybe we could just have the food normal and that kind of be like the weird things like, is this food poisoned? I don't know. It seems very normal, you know? So it's all, everyone's just on their toes the whole time.
I was thinking about creepy stuff like this the other night and thinking about pranks that you could play. And, you know, pranks are supposed to be this, I guess, kind of wholesome, innocuous thing that high school students do to each other. This was like in the context of like student athletes and, oh, what pranks could you play for your fellow teammates or whatever. And I cannot think of a prank that's not deep and dark and disturbing. I told my husband, I was like, okay, what if you found pictures of the student moms about the time that they were conceived, you know? And then it's like the mom with the dad, like maybe they're dating, but you Photoshop in on the dad's body like a face of a serial killer at the time, or just like his uncle or like, you know, someone else in the family, and then you just like casually show the person like, oh my God, is this your parents? And then the kid would be like, well, that's my mom, but who's this? I'm like, oh, well, what year was this taken? And it's like just around the time she got pregnant with them. Doubt his whole paternity and everything. My dad's a serial killer.
Oh, that's a really good one.
It's funny because it's true because it happened to me. But anyway, he really sent me on a journey for a couple of years after I found that picture.
Your mom dated a serial killer?
No, not the serial killer part. The whole paternity doubting thing.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, not as fun. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he was a serial killer. I don't know. The other one I thought is if, you know, you like in their bags where they, I was clearly not an athlete, but you know, their duffel bags where they keep their shoes and their uniforms and everything. Right. You just pick the weak gazelle in the herd, you know, someone who's real insecure, doesn't really fit in with the team. No, wait. We should go with the person who's most popular. Sorry, this started to sound like bullying. Pick the person who's most popular. And then you put like small animal bones in there. And the prank is that you wait and see how everyone responds. When I told my husband these ideas, he did not laugh like you. Oh, that's how I know you're my soulmate.
I just, I just want to know how this conversation came to be. Like, I feel like you just said it. No problems whatsoever. Like, wouldn't it be funny if
Did you have a good day at school? Well, let me tell you some ideas I have.
like we've been sleeping over the past 10 minutes? It's just what you've been thinking about.
Honey, I really gotta get something off my chest. Oh, now we're recording it. It's definitely going to be in some evidence packet someday. Exhibit A, episode 17 of This Makes Me Uncomfortable.
Oh, that's hilarious. That was a good one.
Yeah, so I think if I planned a party, I would not be good for me to come up with activities or decor.
I've come to find out I'm a big enabler.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like even if we were on a team, like I would think that would be an amazing idea.
You just go along with it.
Yeah.
Gosh, we're bad for like cult mentality.
Yeah.
I don't think of you as an enabler, though. I feel like you tell people things you don't like.
Right.
Are you doing it right now? Because I feel enabled and it feels good.
Yeah, I think it's like the people I'm like really close to. I'm just like, yeah, like they were wrong. Like you should do that.
Oh my god. You know, one of my greatest fears / triggers is that people are telling me what I want to hear and they're not telling me the truth. So,
Also unstable. So, you know, I feel like I understand. And I'm just like, yeah, I think you should do that because I would do that.
I don't think us talking to each other is a good reflection of reality. It's like one of those funhouse mirrors. Like everything's very distorted.
For sure.
But it's fun, so.
So fun. Creepy to others. Can be suffocating.
But it feels right to us.
Yeah.
So right. So did you know, Allura, that the word graduated doesn't merely refer to finishing school? What?
What does it mean?
You remember graduated cylinders from chemistry?
No.
It's like the tubes with the measurements on it, and so you can measure chemicals or whatever that you're mixing, and they're graduated because they come in different sizes. So graduated means like a scale, like from small to big to small, and there's different levels. See, we're an educational podcast. We're learning something.
We are. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so whenever I hear the word graduated, I automatically visualize a graduated cylinder.
Like a scale.
No, they're tubes. They're cylinders. What's graduated about them is they come in different sizes and they have different measurements, so they go from big to small. But anyway, part of my association disorder in my head is that I connect to all these random things. Like I did terribly in chemistry. By the way, my chemistry teacher looked exactly like Luigi Mario from the Mario Brothers, and he had no volume modulation in his voice.
I love that.
Or like no tonal modulation, I should say, because he would talk like this. Like it would go really deep, and then boron is a chemical. You know, it was very fascinating. It was like riding a wave, an auditory wave. So anyway, see, that's how my brain works. I connect to these things. So I hear graduated and I think of a graduated cylinder. So if you could choose anything or anyone that you could have in scale from big to small or from small to big, if you're in that kind of thing, what would it be and how would you use each size? We're assuming that butt plugs is our first answer. So go on to your second answer.
I'm just confused. I don't understand chemistry.
You don't need to. So just graduated cylinder. It's like a small tube, and then a medium tube, and then a big tube. And then you can measure different volumes, right? So there's no chemistry. It's just that there's small, medium, large.
Small, medium, large.
Yeah, or you can go bigger. So if you could have anything and there's like a small, medium, and large version of it, what would it be? This is an interesting question. Psychology. So it's not about chemistry at all.
Just a tool. Can you give me an example? What would you get in a small, medium, and large besides butt plugs?
Well, the drawer is already full of them. At first I was thinking of food, imagine you can have, like, when you go to Daiso and you get the little sushi erasers and how cute they are when they were little. And then imagine that you could have the regular size sushi, but then a giant sushi that you, like really carve into it. And then you just have like all this raw meat in your mouth. But then I was thinking, because I was watching that freaking octopus show, and there's like these little tiny octopuses that are like the size of a golf ball, like that. And I didn't realize they were that small. And then there's these big ones. So I was thinking, what if you could have a living creature in a graduated form? And then I thought, what if you could have a little Beyonce? And then like a medium Beyonce, like a leprechaun Beyonce, and then regular Beyonce, and then like a giant Beyonce to take over a town. Because then you could have little Beyonce on your shoulder and like singing Tyrant on your shoulder, like giddy up. And oh God, like wouldn't that pump you up? Like, yeah. And then you had a big one so that if anyone crossed you, she would just take her big glittery boot and squash them. And then do the single ladies dance where her hips and her thighs is like the vagina's like popping. It's so like hypnotizing, mesmerizing. Oh my gosh, I would just have Beyonce's in all sizes. Pocket size, baby size, my size. I had a friend who met Beyonce and my friend was like 5'2" and she said Beyonce was about her same height. And I felt like betrayed. Like, I thought she was tall.
I thought she would be taller.
Because she's such a big presence.
Yeah, she would tower over everyone.
Yes, perception
is key.
Right.
Right.
So what do you want graduated? Is there anything you use in your daily life where you'd be like, oh, that would be cute if it was little? Or, gosh, I wish I had a big one.
I love tiny things.
Me too. It's our Asianness.
Yeah. Because it makes me feel like a giant. And so just like to hold like a mini thing, you know.
I always want to eat it.
Yeah. You know those like little like, when I was little, they had these like little like doll outfit things that made out of like rubber or like plastic, and I would just like chew on.
The Polly Pocket ones, yeah.
Yeah, those ones.
When I was little, that was before they had that, and Polly Pockets were like that big, like not even an inch tall, and they're made out of hard plastic. But similarly, you wanted to eat them like a Tic Tac or something. Like really.
Did you swallow any?
They're probably still stuck in my colon somewhere. It's just like a whole menagerie of little Polly Pockets. I'm about due for a colonoscopy, so maybe they'll find a whole neighborhood in there.
That'll be fun.
A neighborhood of little white dolls. Do they have Asian
Um,
Polly Pockets now?
really interesting.
I don't know if they do. Diversity.
Oh, I don't know. Asians.
Mental illness is meandering. This is a really stumper question for you,
It
isn't
really is because I wasn't prepared for it.
it?
I haven't thought too much in depth. I don't know if I want a person
Yeah, it could be a thing.
in a small, medium, and large size. I feel like the only thing I would have is food. Like I would love like a mini fry and then like a regular and then like a huge fry that I could just like eat like throughout. But then like I'm gonna have to eat that really quickly because it'll get old. And then it'll like how do you dispose of that if you don't like you know?
Oh, so you're thinking logically through this. Have you ever had the guacamole fries from Valerie's Taco Shop?
No.
So delicious.
Really? What's
Mhm.
in them?
It's just fries, cheese, and guacamole, and thank the good baby Jesus that they don't put onions in their guacamole like these other heathens all across this land polluting perfectly good guacamole with huge chunks of onions. So,
You don't like onions?
no, and I will not change my opinion. So their guacamole is just the right amount of citrus and salt, and it's creamy on top of the fries, and I loved eating them alone crying in my car the other day after work.
Oh, I love that. Have you tried their potato tacos?
Hell yeah, girl. With the
They're
green
my
salsa.
favorite.
So delicious.
I get all of their salsas and then I just dump all of them on there and then I just like shove them in my mouth. It's fantastic.
Those are so good. Those are my favorite too. I just get the 2 green salsas and I pour it in the taco.
There's like their habanero one. Like you can only have like a little bit, like just a couple of drops or it'll like completely turn your mouth on fire.
Well,
But
that's what
it's
she
so
said. We should have a Valerie's taco date.
I would love that. Actually, I really want them today.
It's like once you start thinking of them, you can't get them out of your head.
Yeah,
They're
they're so good.
obsessed. That would be cute in graduated form. A little tiny baby taco, and then a
You know
giant
what?
one that you
That's
could
what I
curl.
want. I want a small, a medium, and a large thing of hot sauce.
Oh, okay. That's
I'm a
cute.
hot sauce girly.
What's your favorite hot sauce?
Oh.
Really coming with the hard-hitting questions today.
There is this um place called Vallarta's in Carlsbad. It's a drive-through, but they have the best red salsa. If I could get that in a big bottle, I would love my life forever. It's so good, so flavorful. It's not that hot, which I wish it was, just like a little bit, but the flavor is there. I put it on like my avocado like bagels.
Oh, that's a good idea. I like super mix salsa. Have you had that?
No.
Delicious. So tangy, so spicy. Honestly, I get so disappointed with salsa from stores or hot sauce from stores that I just buy it in bulk from restaurants. So you should ask them.
Is not good.
Yeah, the store stuff is talk about white people party.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so bland.
Yeah. I always like get extra of the like salsas so that I can just like put them in my fridge and then like make things and use them later. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, you should ask them if you can pay extra for like a big container of it.
Yeah.
And then, as an Asian person, you can use that container for all sorts of things afterwards. Yeah. We're the original recyclers. Okay, so your answer is butt plugs. So, yesterday I was at a funeral and someone referred to as death as graduation.
Interesting.
Yes. How do you feel about that?
I can see their point.
Yeah.
Because that would also imply, right, that, like, there's something after death as well, since you're graduating from this life and going on to the next.
Yeah, like you have a job now that you have to go to.
So, yeah, but like where, But that is the question.
Yeah.
That is what everyone asks after you graduate. What next? And you're like, I don't know. So I think it's fitting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so the what next, I don't know, that is very similar to like, and I think that they were trying to hit on multiple spiritual views of that. It kind of alluding to reincarnation, kind of alluding to heaven, and that Jesus's many mansions. Like my dad's got a lot of mansions. Jesus is like kind of a rapper. Like the Bible's kind of like a rap song. It's like very braggadocious.
Totally.
My youngest has actually been very interested in Bible stories recently, so I've been reading to her about Jesus just because she's curious. And I talked to her about, this is just one of many ways to look at it. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway, it caught my attention. It's like, oh, death is graduation. So let's stick with we're dying because the year pretty much killed us. Anyway.
It did.
What would your commencement speech for this graduation / death be? What have we learned? What's next?
I'm thinking of maybe going to law school.
Yay!
So I started practicing for the LSAT.
Ooh, did you get that big book, the prep book?
No, they have like the free like online platform. So I just like do like the little quizzes and things and like specialties and all
cool.
that stuff. But yeah, so I just want my Elle Woods moment.
Yes.
You
have it. You're way smarter than Elle Woods.
Yeah. But it's so expensive, so I have to figure that out. But yeah, I think this year what I learned is
she's stalling. This is how you should do it in the courtroom too. I believe she's not guilty because,
like, Your Honor, you weren't even there. I don't.
None of us were. How do we know?
Exactly. Something I've learned this year, I think, is that I truly am capable of anything that I set my mind to.
True.
And that nothing is ever that serious. Like, in your, like, areas. Unless it is, but usually it's not. Yeah, and I don't know. That's why I was never chosen for.
I don't know, you guys. We can figure it out. All those commencement speeches are just a bunch of abstract nonsense anyway. It doesn't really mean anything. It's all very vague. I like it when commencement speeches are very specific. I like, for instance, like Raul or Alessi or Nani, who we know gave very specific personal experiences and what the graduation meant to them. So I think those are effective, but most commencement speeches I see is just like platitudes about positivity and this and that, and it doesn't really mean anything. So I've learned that words mean nothing.
Yeah.
Because people will misinterpret them anyway and get angry and not care about actual information. And that I have no faith in any system whatsoever. And therefore,
Mm-hmm.
we should just try to find joy where we can and
Beautiful.
take care of each other how we can, because we can't rely on anybody else to do that.
Well said.
Thank you. And butt plugs come in many sizes. The more you know.
That was really good. That was really good. Okay. I think that's it, right?
Psh, I got nothing else.
Okay. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Instagram, I guess. Let us know what you would like in a graduated cylinder. Did I say that correctly?
Okay, it's something you want that's graduated, not the cylinder. The cylinder is the thing that's graduated. What thing do you want graduated in small, medium, large, and extra large? Gosh, Laura. Or let us know on Instagram what topic you want for upcoming episodes, because we failed to recognize that it's been months since our last episode because life is eating us alive. So if you have an idea, a topic that you want us to rant about, then tell us.
DM us. Sugar daddy applications as
Glucose
well as
Guardian.
other things. Okay, well, make good choices. Until next time. Bye.
Suck it.